going to take a look at the fraction division problem, 2/3 divided by 3/4. So let's take a look at this number line down here, and let's see if we can find 2/3. Well, here's 2/3. Mark that. And we're talking about a fraction, a part of a whole, so 2/3 out of a whole. And now let's go back up here to our question. How many groups of 3/4 are in 2/3? Well, let's take a look at this number line right here. So here's 0, here's 1 whole, so half would be right about here. And that would put 3/4 right about here. So how many groups of 3/4 are there in 2/3? Well, 3/4 is greater than 2/3. So there won't be a whole group of 3/4 and 2/3. There'll just be a partial group of 3/4 and 2/3. So that's going to be an interesting thing to look at. Let's see if we can use our common denominator strategy to figure out how to set up our number line. So I'm dealing with thirds and fourths. Let's think through some multiples of 3 and 4. So the multiples of 3, the first few multiples of 3, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. The first few multiples of 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I heard 12 with both of those. So my least common denominator is going to be 12. So I think I want to go ahead and set up my number line with 12ths. So I'm going to come and reset this, come back down here, and change my number line to 12ths. I want to zoom out a little bit so we can see a little more. And here we are. Now let's go ahead and notate with those fractions. So we said that we could use a common denominator of 12. So if we have the fraction 2/3, what can we multiply 2/3 by to get 12? Well, 3 times 4 is 12, but I don't want to change the value of my fraction. So I'm going to multiply by 4/4 because 4/4 has a value of what? Yeah, 4/4 has a value of 1. If we multiply something by 1, we don't change its value. We're going from thirds to 12ths, so we're getting smaller pieces, but the value will still be the same. So we have 8/12. So 2/3 is equivalent to 8/12. Let's see if we can find that down here. I'm going to go ahead and mark that, and I'll put a little note down below that we decided that this was equivalent to 2/3. Now, we need to do the same thing with 3/4. So 3/4, and we are looking to get 3/4. We're looking to rewrite that as 12ths. We don't want to change the value, but we're going to change the size of the pieces. So what would we multiply 4 by to get 12? Well, we'd multiply by 3, right? So we're going to multiply 3/4 times 3/3 because 3/3 has a value of what? Yeah, 3/3 has a value of 1. So 4 times 3 is 12, and 3 times 3 is 9. So 3/4 is equivalent to 9/12, and that would be right here. I'm going to go ahead and write down below 3/4. And actually, let's do a little bit of an erase so we can see that. All right. So now the question is, how many groups of 3/4 are in 8/12? I'd like to bring down the little pen and click on one of the jumps. I'll bring my jump down here. And let's create a jump of 3/4. Now, how many groups of 3/4 are in 8/12? Well, let's mark it out here. Here's 2/3. How many jumps of 3/4 or groups of 3/4 are in 2/3? Not the whole thing, right? Because here's where 2/3 stops, and the jump of 3/4 goes beyond that. So what portion of the 3/4 is in the 2/3? Let's count it up. Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of how many total? 9. So I think the answer is going to be 8/9. Now let's prove that with our common denominator division strategy. So we had original problem was 2/3 divided by 3/4. We're going to rewrite that with the common denominators that we have. 8/12 divided by 9/12. And then let's see if we can divide straight across. 12 divided by 12 has a denominator of 1. Remember, when we divide anything by 1, the answer is the same. So 8 divided by 9 is 8/9. And 8/9 divided by 1 is 8/9, which is what we got when looking at the model, all right? So 2/3 divided by 3/4 is equal to 8/9.